I think at the end of the day, data and privacy is something very, very important, but it's also very, very important for you to understand the differences between, because we have PDPA.
Correct.
We also have, like you said, like social media. We put our data onto all these different platforms all the time, but how can we protect our data, and what are some of the things that we need to understand about giving out our data? We have on our show our very own expert right over here. He is the Managing Director of Spirit of Endeavour, Mr. KV Soon.
Hi.
Hello. So we ramble on so much about data.
Yeah.
Today we're going to be speaking about more of personal data, or like data that we just input bagi bank,
Exactly.
bagi, telcos.
Correct. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, data is a very interesting subject. And before we start, I think let's try to understand what's happening today now. We tend to separate data as data, we are we, right? But I think in this whole digital environment, think of ourselves as inside this movie called Tron. I hope.
I know the movie Tron. Yes.
We are in Tron because everything that we do, everything that we say that comes out in the digital space is data.
Right.
So like your movement, if it's captured on video, some social media somewhere, your bank account, you know, what you buy, it's all data, right? So it's also timely that the Malaysian government and the ASEAN governments come together and say, let's look at this seriously. Let's look at PDPA. Let's look at, you know, PDPA's personal data protection policy. You know, there's the cybersecurity initiatives. It's very timely and it's necessary because we are living in this world now. You know, for what I call the digital realm. We are in the digital realm, right? So we need to understand it. So that's how I would first frame it. Okay, so everything that we do goes out. Like now, you're filming me, right? Somebody sees it on social media, you know, records it, takes it, captures my face. Data are gone. You know, it's out there, right? Where's my privacy?
Correct.
So I think this is a very important question, and thank you for having me here to share some of my ideas and thoughts with you.
So we're going to talk about data privacy and also security in just in a bit. But okay, off the questions and off the books, right? So what about you going out there and people just get you to you know what? Yeah, register yourself. Scan this QR code. Scan this. Scan that. Can that be breached as well?
Security is like your security guard, lah. You know. And then you go to a jewelry shop and there's some security guard. It's very technical. There's a certain process involved. Cyber security or digital security or data security has some processes, right? And usually very technical. Someone guarding the door, like your firewall, like your digital security systems, and whatnot. Pretty technical. Like we're in Tron, all those blinking lights. It's like a giant lock. Okay, so it's very, very digital realm. But in terms of data privacy, is a little bit less technical, but has to do with what is called governance. How you manage data. You may have the best security guard or best security system. Somebody can go in, take a thumb drive, plug, come out. So this part I want to emphasize because this is about governance. So when you say data privacy, it's about how we govern, how we manage the data that is given to an organization, entrusted to them to take care of for a particular purpose. And if you go beyond that purpose, it's a breach.
All right.
Right. So the upgraded, or should I say the revised PDPA, has a lot of these components. You have to declare what you're taking, what you're using it for, how you're going to use it, and if there's any breach, you can complain. And the government has set up a department called the Personal Data Protection Department, and under the MCMC. You can go there.
Right.
Okay, so it's so new, but just to let you know, there's such a place that you can report potential breaches to.
A lot of people did not know as well that the PDPA Act, so PDPA was actually introduced in 2010, and then in 2025, we have the sort of upgraded, more specified, amended ruling, right? Can you maybe share to our audiences, for example, if I feel like, or I knew my data is being breached here, or before actually, before I even sign the terms and conditions, I send any sort of contract, the first thing you will see down there is that this is protected by PDPA, blah, 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 and all that. What do we as a consumer or as an audience need to know about the brand new, the amended PDPA Act, and what are some of our rights that we have as a consumer?
Well, I don't want to divide the whole discussion into legal discussion.
Maybe just hear the basics.
Just a little bit. I think in the amendment, one of the very big significant change is to is companies that manages beyond X number of data. Okay, there's I think 30,000. Can't remember offhand, but round about there. Yeah? And if you do that, you must have a data protection officer present. So now we're in a new position.
Right.
Yeah.
Also new job opportunity to be trained, right? We have trained a couple of DPOs, right? And these data protection officers now become responsible for managing and overseeing the governance of the data in accordance to the PDPA, right? And there are certain conditions, there are certain principles, at least 7, 8 principles. You should go online and read them. I encourage you to go online, read about all these principles and what your rights are. Okay. So these are very important steps. When Malaysia had the PDPA in 2010, if I'm not mistaken, right? We are one of the first countries in Asia, in ASEAN, to do this. And now we have done this amendment. So obviously, we are very serious, okay? But the point is really now, there are two things you need to consider. One is the organization themselves, how they manage the data. Second is the responsibility and the understanding of the consumers. You know, one of the big challenge for consumers is that when you look at the terms and conditions of data...
don't read it. I've probably only read once or twice.
ChatGPT, please summarize for me.
ChatGPT, what is this?
So did you see, when you just said, right, we don't read it, Mr. KB was like, oh, you go.
There you go. Yeah.
My defense, I do read. I skim through the thing.
That's important, but this is the reality.
Yeah.
Okay, but if I summarize it, a couple of things is that for yourself, again, I brought up about Tron, right? Okay, the Tron. We are in this era that we are in a digital realm. Our data will go out anyway, right? So what are you comfortable about releasing? Okay. Now, the PDPA is a very, very structured, governed process for companies to manage your data. Private data or data, what is called data linked to you. That means there's something that's linked to you, you know, but your address, your birth date, your mother's name, where were you born, and those are very, very critical personal data that needs to be protected. And PDPA is actually aimed at that data that can link to you, and that's important when you frame the whole thing into the digital economy. Is where it gives confidence that I'm doing a transaction. I'm doing the right person. And that's one of the steps to avoid scammers. I know, okay, if I say this word, it means you've got another big topic coming out, right?
Yes,
yeah, this is another
very big topic. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back here on Fresh Brew.
Okay.
The logo is inspired by Hibiscus rosa sinensis, Bunga Raya, which is the national flower of Malaysia and also commonly found in all ASEAN member states. The flower symbolizes cultural richness, unity, and identity of the region. The colors used in the logo, blue, red, yellow, and white, represent the main colors of the flags of all ASEAN member states. The tip pointing to the right symbolizes Malaysia as chair, driving ASEAN forward. The sixth stigma signifies the Madani principles: sustainability, care and compassion, respect, innovation, prosperity and trust, which underpin Malaysia's chairmanship. The inward curve of the 5 petals embracing the ASEAN logo reflects inclusivity, reinforcing Malaysia's vision for a peaceful, stable, and prosperous ASEAN. Bunga Raya signifies the rich biodiversity of the region, representing ASEAN's drive towards sustainability. The circular motion of the petals around the ASEAN logo symbolizes ASEAN's collective resolve towards attaining the long-term sustainability of the region and its people. The ASEAN logo in the middle represents ASEAN centrality.
Kecemasan, boleh saya bantu?
Hello, there's been a motorcycle accident here. Maybe an elephant ran it over.
Sir, there is fire accident at the address number 5 Jalan Tembika Shah Alam. PGO from FRT Shah Alam, there was no fire accident here, over.
MERS 999. Use it wisely.
Well, welcome back to Fresh Brew. Hope you're having a fantastic Sunday morning. Now, we have here on the show, so I almost like choked on it because so excited to be speaking about data. And again, the rights and the security of it is very important because nowadays, scammers go left and right. Honestly, I just recently got a recent scammer call, and I was curious, how do you know, where do you get my data?
Yeah.
And they just said they got it from this company, and I'm like, I've never been in this company at all.
That's right.
So what do we do when we receive calls as such? Do we block them? Do we report them? Again, we have the Managing Director of Spirit of Endeavour, Mr. KV Soon. So Mr. KV, what do we do when we are faced with calls like this? Because we spoke about scammers a little bit before we took the break. So once I feel like, hey, I have a data breach, because again, I'm not sure, sometimes like our e-platforms.
That's right.
Online platforms.
And I think what's also quite difficult, and I would say it's not fair, is that we like to point fingers, right? It's like, this guy knows my data, where I live, my house address. Oh, it's because of the telcos. Oh, it's because of this. Or it's because of that. So we just need to really understand this whole thing altogether when it comes to data breaching and privacy as well.
I think there are so many areas to talk about. Let's talk about scammers. I think the government's doing a pretty good job, but it's up to us really. Okay, there is a hotline. The hotline allows you call them, you can message them, capture a screenshot, they will investigate. So I think this is a good thing, and a lot of banks, a lot of financial institutions have taken steps to overcome that. But I think it's more to us now. When we look at something suspicious, don't respond.
Right.
If somebody can say, if it's a real, genuine call, they'll get upset and call you back.
Yeah.
So it costs you a cup of coffee only. Sorry, buy you coffee. That will solve the problem, rather than losing your whole bank account.
Correct.
Okay, so take the more cautious approach. If you see something, I just got a message today before I came in here. I said, my delivery is lost, what's my address? No way, man. If it's a real delivery guy, he will call me 3-4 times.
Correct.
Okay, so fine. So it's okay, but please take extra precaution and understand, some of the dangers.
The government rather introduced this mobile data project where the government's basically asking the telcos to hand over all of our data, and we don't have a say in it,
exactly.
right? So are you okay to speak about this? Like, what's your opinion on it? I think what everyone's really upset about is that we're just handing over our data, but what people don't understand is not actually being used for anything else, but to get real-time statistics, right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong in this?
I think you're quite right. Okay, from what I read, I'm not in the government, so I don't know the whole decision. But I think this is the whole process. That if you want certain data, you request for it, and you request, and you have to specify, what you want to use it for, and what are you taking it for. Now, I don't know the details. There are snippets of news and videos out there. I dare not comment. But I think the process is correct. Okay, I hope I'll get shot for this. The process is correct of requesting data rather than, bang boleh.
Right.
Okay. Then it's now up to telco Now, Endeavour is a private company governed under PDPA. So whether they have the right or whether they should give it up to them. Okay. But anything that, for me, is that anything that touches personal data, that means can link to the individual, I'll be very concerned.
Right.
Okay. And I like to express my concern here. If there is, we have to tread very, very carefully.
That's right.
So again, I don't know the full context.
Just to clear anything out before everyone gets in a panic, the data is going to be used for official national statistics, and none of our names or none of our personal details are going to be included. It's just things like how often we spend our time on the phone, you know, stats like this. So is that something for us to be concerned about? Is that okay? Because we talked about like information on personal style, but this is our behavioral usages. But it's still data nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, the whole definition of personal data is getting broad. You know, the very narrow definition, very clear definition, like your birth date, you know, facial, and very, very clear definition, right? Then if you spread it out, it becomes, then the next level of identification comes in. Phone number is identification. It is used as OTP. Of course, you ask me if am I concerned? Yes, I am concerned. I do hope that this is addressed, you know, in this whole data exchange, data requests and so on. So, because then the next level is pattern. In certain countries where what I call that personal data is not linked to biometrics and identification cards, pattern comes in. So pattern recognizes, you know, kind of identifies you. For example, credit cards. There's no data in there in the credit card, but there's a certain pattern. And if you go out of that, you'll get a call, hey, you do this purchase, so it doesn't seem like you.
Right.
You know, it is also a form of identification. So all these points back to you as an individual. So you have to be very cautious. So I do hope that, you know, clarity is given according to the principles of PDPA and say, what do you want to use it for, how you actually use it, and then have full disclosure.
Now, Mr. Kivisun, what can we actually do, you know, in all of this, just to make sure that, you know, we can better protect our own data, you know, to protect it from being misused?
Okay, there are two parts. Let me give 2 points. First part is personal data. I think be very careful about who you're giving it to. Make sure the companies are legitimate and they have you know, the my data you know, certification. You know, and they are bigger companies. Usually they do have that, but nonetheless, please check. So that's personal data. But then there's the other part of the data that we give freely. Never think. Social media, just going on vacation. Sometimes you put it, it becomes a public share. It's not a private share. And the terms of reference, the terms of conditions of some of these companies are very vague. And they can use your data for other purposes. AI companies have known to scrape all this public data and know about you online. And that is something I'm totally, you know, not comfortable. I hope that as time goes on, when we live in this Tron world, we are able to develop procedures and governance that can help manage this a bit better. This is like a wild, wild west today. We don't have all the answers, unfortunately.
My question was, where is the picture going to go? And how do I, as a consumer, as a human being, be better knowledgeable in terms of where and when should I give my data?
Be careful, right? You don't have to follow the trend. Don't follow the trend. I shared, I said, don't give your pictures. You know, 600 million people give their pictures. And what happens is this now, the AI company have now 600 million pictures to do what is called machine learning and train, you know, based on the data. And then when you ask, you pay for their service, but which the data comes from you, willingly give free. And that's not right. So that's my opinion. I think there needs to be much stronger governance on AI, especially the AI that we see today, you know, and be very, very careful. This is not the first company that did that. Some years ago, another social media company, which one name and say, oh, compare now in 10 years, how much you have grown. Oh, we happily go and give too. So now they have data to trend how people age and now able to better identify you. So this is another issue. So we sometimes follow too quickly. I would say pull back, you know. better to be,
safe than sorry.
Safe than sorry. You don't have to do that. Share in private. Limited sharing. Don't have everything public all the time. Yeah, unless you're a celebrity, maybe,
That's the catch, right? Us being celebrities, konon lah, especially for me. She's a celebrity, so...
No lah.
But we just got to be careful. I think, Mr. KV Soon, before we say goodbye, right, maybe you can just share with them just your advice, probably like a very short liner, before we say goodbye. What would you say to all the audience out there? How to make sure that they're safe?
Be careful. Don't just anyhow give your data to organizations, especially free data. Free, take it. No. So be careful. Better not share if you're unsure.
That's right.
Thank you so much, Mr. KV.